Hey, what's up, guys? It's a Sports Blitz here, and we're back with another NFL mock draft. Before I get into it, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Today, we are only going to be doing one round, and I'm actually not planning on any trades today. I guess if there's anything that like pops up, and we think about, maybe we'll go ahead and do a trade or two here and there, but I'm not anticipating any trades. So very first for the Tennessee Titans. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and have them take Cam Ward. I definitely think Abdul Carter, could be in the picture. I think a potential trade back could be in the picture, but I mean, really, if they're here wanting to try and get their quarterback of the future, Cam Ward's really the best option right there. So I think they take him, give him the shot right there. For the second pick for the Browns, I've had a lot of debate in my comments with people saying that the Browns should take Shador Sanders instead of Abdul Carter. I don't think that makes a lot of sense. Like, look, I know Deshaun Watson is not going to play next year, and really, even if he did, I mean, he hasn't been good with the Browns. Period. Like, he just hasn't been good. Even when he was healthy, he has not been good with the Browns. And so the Browns do need a quarterback. I realize that, but I fully expect it to be either in free agency or the draft, because my philosophy when it comes to the draft, especially in the first round, you go best player available that you believe can help your team. Obviously, don't take best player if it's a situation that, say, you've got like Joe Burrow or Josh Allen or whatever. Like, don't take a quarterback in the first round if that's best player available, but like best player that makes sense. And for the Browns right here, Abdul Carter is that guy. For the Giants, this is kind of a tough situation too. I stood corrected in my last mock draft. Giants fans were saying that their front office does actually like Shador Sanders. Now, I mean, there's a lot of smoke screens going on around here. I don't know for sure what teams like him and what don't. The last report I heard was that a lot of teams weren't super high on him and preferred Jackson Dart even. Me personally, I'm not crazy high on him, but I mean, look, Giants fans have probably been more in the news for the Giants more than I have. Maybe they happen to know a little bit more about that situation than me. So I'll go ahead and have them take Shador Sanders right here. And see what happens with that. I do also think there's a possibility maybe they do, push for Matt Stafford. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I think free agency is going to tell us a lot. I really do. For the Patriots, this is kind of another situation that I had fans not liking my pick of always going Tetaroa McMillan. I don't understand why they don't like it. I think Ted McMillan is an absolute stud at wide receiver. I think he's very Mike Evans like. Has a very, very long catch radius. He's like 6'5". I mean, look, I'm not expecting him to like come in and necessarily immediately be Mike Evans, but he's gonna make some noise, even year one. And that's regardless of what team he goes to. If he goes somewhere with a good quarterback, which I believe the Patriots have in Drake May, I really like Drake May. I mean, Tetaroa McMillan would make a lot of sense, but this kind of one of those things that, I mean, I've had Patriots fans hounding me about taking Mason Graham instead. I mean, look, Mason Graham is a fantastic player, and look, if we are following best player available, I wouldn't argue with someone about Mason Graham being the better player. So, since that's kind of what we're doing here, sure, we'll have the Patriots take Mason Graham. I did say best player available that still helps your team. For me, I think it makes a lot of sense to get as much help for your young quarterback as possible. But I can also understand the hype with Mason Graham. And again, like I said, free agency will tell us a lot. Maybe they get help for Drake May in free agency. So I think we'll know a lot more, you know, really after the first week or so of free agency. I think that's going to tell us a lot right there. For the Jacksonville Jaguars, now normally right here, I would normally have them take Will Johnson out of Michigan. And I do actually believe he's the better corner out of him and Travis Hunter. However, I do think the Jags will be intrigued by his versatility to play receiver as well. Again, I've said this several times. I'll keep saying it. I do not think that he's going to be full-time corner and receiver. I think he's going to be a full-time corner that comes in at receiver for anywhere from 10 to 20 snaps a game. Really kind of depends on the flow of the game, how bad they need him, that sort of thing. So in this case, I am going to have them take Travis Hunter. For the Las Vegas Raiders here, I've mocked Ashton Genty to them before. I still think that's a possibility right here because we know Pete Carroll loves, his Marshawn Lynch type guys. But as we've said before, this is also an extremely deep running back class, an extremely talented running back class. I really don't. I would say probably 2017 is the last time we saw a class that we expected this many good running backs. The class with Christian McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Leonard Fournette, Alvin Kamara. I believe there were several others too, but I can't think of them all right now. And obviously Leonard Fournette didn't really work out, but look, there's a lot of talented running backs, and this is probably the most talented running back class since 2017. So I think the Raiders could afford to wait. I think right here, Will Johnson makes a lot of sense. For me, again, best corner in the class. I don't really see a situation that the Raiders realistically should pass on him. I really don't. For the Jets right here, I'm going to go ahead and have them take offensive tackle Will Campbell. This is a situation, again, we could maybe see him play at guard. I know kind of one of his biggest knocks is his shorter arms. And really, this is a situation that really, after watching more tape, I don't know that it's going to be a for sure put him at guard situation. Now, let me clarify, I definitely think he can play guard at the NFL level. So there is a spot for him for sure. But I believe he'll be able to be strong enough and use his hands well enough to be a tackle at the next level. We saw it with Rashawn Slater. He was a guy that so many people were like, no, he's not going to work out in the NFL because of short arms, and well, he's been a pretty dang good tackle for the Chargers. So, I think this is such a similar situation. I think the Jets would kind of be stupid not to take him right here. So, Will Campbell to the Jets right here. For the Carolina Panthers, given this current situation, Now, my favorite player to take right here is Jalen Walker. He's kind of my dream pick for the Panthers right here. I think it'd just help their defense significantly. However, there's two guys also that I'm like, I would still consider home run picks that are edge rushers, and that's Michael Williams and Mike Green. I love Mike Green. I mean, he is insanely explosive off the edge, super fast. Honestly, he kind of seems like a very similar player to Brian Burns. You know, very similar in like he's super twitchy, super explosive off the edge, and I think teams are gonna like that. And I think really the combine's gonna raise his stock quite a bit too. I think he's gonna perform really well at the combine, and teams are gonna be talking about him as a top 10 pick some more. Um, and then last guy that I've actually thought a lot about here is Teteroa McMillan. And this is kind of a situation that, again, if he falls to this point, I mean, which I don't necessarily think he will, I think the main team that has to pass on him in order for him to fall this far would be the Patriots. So if they don't take him here, um, he would be a good option for the Panthers. But I'm going to go with, again, my favorite player in the draft, and that's Jalen Walker out of Georgia. I think he's just a perfect fit for the Panthers. I don't think he's going to be a full time edge. I don't think he's going to be a full time off ball linebacker. I think he's going to play a lot at both and just cause havoc on the defense. For the Saints, I'm going to go ahead and give them Teteroa McMillan. I mean, they've got Kellen Moore now at head coach. He's going to be the type of guy that wants to build the offense. And I've had them take, guys like Michael Williams several times before. I really like that fit, actually. I've had them take Tyler Warren before, get a franchise tight end. I think this is a situation that they just can't pass on Tet McMillan. Like, even him falling to number 9 is kind of absurd for me. So, Bears, this is kind of a situation, too, that, look, the fun pick would be Ashton Genty. And I don't necessarily think it'd be a bad pick here either. I really don't. But the smart thing, honestly, is probably gonna be to take, probably Kelvin Banks right here. Is probably gonna be the right guy. Build the trenches. In my last mock draft, I did have them take Ashton Genty, and I don't remember if I explained it in that mock draft or not. But again, the fun pick for the Bears would be Genty. The smart pick would be offensive line. Protect Caleb. Give whoever your running back is going to be some good lanes to run through. And really, like I said, with how deep and how talented this class is, like, they could still get, maybe an Omarion Hampton in the second round. I don't know if he'd still be available there or not. But even if not, like Travion Henderson or Quinshon Judkins, either one of them are absolute studs to take there as well with their second rounder. So I think you take Calvin Banks right here and, kind of shore up the offensive line. 49ers on the board, and I think we also go with offensive line here. I'm going to go with Josh Simmons out of Ohio State. I really love this guy. I think he is a very, very talented tackle. He's someone I've actually mocked to the Bears a couple times as well at pick 10. I think he's one of the few guys in this class that, one of the few top guys in this class that it's very obvious he's going to play tackle at the next level. Like, he's not one of those guys that there's been debates on potentially being guard instead. He's going to be a tackle at the next level, and I think he's going to be a real good one. Moving on to the Dallas pick, I'm going to have them take running back Ashton Genty out of Boise State. I mean, I don't think I really need to explain that one. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's who most Dallas fans want. It just kind of seems inevitable as long as the Bears don't take the fun pick in Genty there. Dolphins on the board. I'm gonna have them take Malachi Starks, another one of just my guys in the draft. Total just freak on the defense. He's really another guy that, like, look, I know people don't usually like taking safeties high in the draft, but I mean, I would not be surprised at all if Starks makes it into the top 10. I really wouldn't. He is a freak on the defense. For the Colts, I'm going to have them take probably their dream pick as well in Tyler Warren from Penn State. I don't really see as a world where they pass on him if he's available for them. Honestly, you may even see a situation maybe they try to come up for him if they hear that other teams are super interested. I think that'd be a really good pick for him. For the Falcons, now I mentioned earlier that I'm a huge Mike Green fan. I'm also a big Mykel Williams fan. And honestly, I even could see the fit with James Pierce with them. Personally, for me, like, I feel like they're gonna see how Mike Green performs at the combine and just be totally enamored by him. I don't know. It kind of just seems like a good fit for the Falcons. Like, I don't like doing that as a Panthers fan, but I mean, I don't see a world they would really pass on him. For the Cardinals, I'm trying to decide who I think they'd be more likely to take between Mykel Williams and James Pierce. There was a report that I heard, and look, I don't know how credible the source was. I don't know how true it is. So everything you see, you kind of got to take with a grain of salt. But I saw a report that James Pierce has had some attitude issues, some character concerns. And again, I don't know the details of that. I don't know how true it is. It could just be some random person shouting out rumors. So I'm not going to put a whole lot into that. I'm trying to decide if the Cardinals would take him over Mykel Williams. I'm kind of leaning more on the side of James Pierce. I think Pierce seems like the better fit for the Cardinals for what they're trying to do. So with that said, we've got kind of a run on edge rushers going. We got Mykel Williams going to the Cincinnati Bengals. I think it'd be kind of crazy if Mykel Williams actually falls this far. But if he does, I mean, hey, that is a home run pick for the Bengals right here. For the Seattle Seahawks, I'm going to take a guy that, look, Seahawks fans might not like because of the position I'm having them take, but he is a beast. I've seen him even mocked as high as top 7 before. Really earlier, I thought he was going to be kind of drafted more towards the end of the first round. Now it's really looking like it's going to be significantly higher, and I could kind of see it. I'm going to have them take Walter Nolan out of Ole Miss. Dude, just he has an insane motor off the D line. He is very explosive, very powerful hands. I think he's going to bring a lot to that Seattle D line. Now I know you look at guys like, obviously Armand Membu's still there. I love the fit of Tyler Booker going there. But I mean, Walter Nolan was right there. It's hard to pass on a guy like Nolan. It really is. For the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm gonna have them take Shamar Stewart, best remaining edge rusher in the draft. He's kind of a guy that I've noticed in a lot of his film that he hasn't been super great at like finishing the rep and getting the sack sort of thing, but he's really good at like getting in the face of the quarterback. He has a really solid bull rush, and I think in the NFL, like if he can work on that and work on finishing with that, I think he can be really good. Um, in fact, that type of play honestly kind of reminds me a lot of Jadavion Clowney. Really, his entire NFL career, he's always been like super high in like the pressure numbers and been a good run stopper, but has never really had crazy high sack numbers. And I think Shamar Stewart's gonna kind of be a similar player like that in the NFL. So I think that makes a lot of sense for the Bucks right there to take him. For the Denver Broncos right here, I'm gonna go ahead and have them take. I'm gonna have them take Luther Burden. Um, I think that makes a lot of sense for the receiving core. I don't know the situation. Did they re-sign Cortland Sutton? I'm trying to remember if they ever ended up re-signing him. I thought I heard that maybe they did, but I don't know for sure. I think really, regardless of whether they did or not, Luther Burden would really help that offense quite a bit. Um, I think it just makes a lot of sense. And even if not, like Colston Loveland is right there and makes a lot of sense as well to take. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to give them wide receiver Emeka Egbuka. That's kind of another situation that if Egbuka's there, Steelers are going to take him. I think they'd be stupid not to. So for the Chargers, I'm going to go ahead and give them tight end Colston Loveland out of Michigan. Um, they've needed some tight end help for what seems like quite a while now. Loveland gives them, well, exactly that. So I don't think I need to explain that really any further. For the Green Bay Packers, I am going to have them take, in my opinion, the next best corner available in Jahdae Barron. Now, I know there's a lot of people kind of debating between him and Benjamin Morrison. Look, Morrison is not far behind. I like him a lot. I think he's going to be a fantastic corner in the league. In fact, I think that's actually who the Vikings take right here. I think they're that close. I think Barron's just ever so slightly ahead of him. I wouldn't argue with any point of, you know, for people that want to say Morrison is the better corner, I wouldn't exactly say that's a bad argument, you know. For the Texans here, they're going to get an absolute mauler on the interior in Tyler Booker. Just total beast of a guard. He's a guy, like I mentioned, that I've mocked to Seattle quite a few times, and look, man, he's going to be an absolute beast on the interior. I've seen him fall to the second round before, and I don't understand it. I think he is like I think he's going to be a beast in the NFL. And really, for the Texans offensive line that really needs a lot of help, I mean, look, Booker's going to bring a lot of help right there. For the Rams, there's been a lot of back and forth with fans on if they should take tackle or even receiver. I think it depends a lot on the Cooper Cup situation. I do think Cooper Cup ends up getting traded. So for me, because of that, I'm debating between Armand Membu and Matthew Golden. I think really either one of them would be a great pick. Um, I think you look at their receiving core though, and after Cooper Cup is gone, all they really have is Puka. They don't really have a whole lot other help there. Um, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Tutu Atwell also a free agent? I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure Tutu Atwell's a free agent. Also, sorry guys, I've got hiccups right now. I apologize. I apologize if that's coming through, um but yeah, man, I'm kind of liking the idea of Matthew Golden. I think that brings a lot to that offense. Um, if I am right about Tutu Atwell being a free agent and they end up trading Cooper Cup as well, they're going to need some receiver help. And, I mean, look, Puka is fantastic. He's an amazing receiver. But good teams, like a lot of the really good teams you see in the league tend to have, you know, two really high level receivers, you know. For the Ravens right here, I think I'm going to go ahead and have them take Armand Membu, which the Rams didn't right here. Um, they really just need some tackle help right there. So, for the Detroit Lions, I'm going to go ahead and give them Jack Sawyer right here from Ohio State. Um, this just kind of feels like a Dan Campbell pick. Like it really does. Um, I mean, honestly, I have him higher up on my edge board than the Nick Scorton right here. I think he's going to be the better pass rusher. Honestly, he kind of seems like I don't know, saying great value. Aiden Hutchinson is kind of disrespectful, but it's kind of true. Like you're not gonna expect him to come in and be, Aiden Hutchinson, but he's kind of a great value, Aiden Hutchinson. He plays very similarly. Um, he's fast and explosive off the edge. He's good at using his hands. Um, there's kind of another term that really I've heard quite a bit with pass rushers lately is speed to power. He's got good speed to power, sort of thing. Like in other words, he's good at converting his speed off the edge into power when he, I guess, connects with the tackle. And I think that's going to be a good pick for Detroit. For the Washington Commanders, I am going to. I think I'm going to go ahead and have them take Josh Connerly out of Oregon. Go ahead and get some offensive line help right there. Um, I know most of the help needed is really more in the defense, but I think they'll be able to get some good help there in free agency. And again, like it's a situation that's like take best player available that can help your team. And I think Connerly can help that O-line significantly. Bills on the board right here. I'm going to go ahead and actually have them take defensive lineman Kenneth Grant out of Michigan. Total beast on the interior D line. D tackle is really another position that's super, super deep in this class. There's a lot of guys like that you're even gonna see probably in like the third round that had it been any other year, they'd probably get drafted high second or even into the first round because you know there's so many super talented defensive tackles still ahead of them. Like it's that deep, it's that talented. You know, like even a guy like Alfred Collins, take for example, and even Dion Walker. They're probably gonna be late second round picks, maybe third round picks. In a year that it's not this deep and talented, you probably see them go towards the end of the first round, you know? And instead, you're going to see like Derek Harmon and Tyleik Williams around there. Like, it is an insanely deep defensive tackle class. But, anyways, Chiefs fans, you didn't come to hear me talk about defensive tackles. You came to, hear who I'm going to have you guys take. And I'm going to go ahead and have you guys take Gray Zabel out of North Dakota State. He is a guy that I truly believe can play guard or tackle and be phenomenal at either one. Dude's just a total mauler at both spots. I think he's probably going to end up being more of a guard in the NFL, but I believe he can also play tackle. I really do. I mean, he's just a really good offensive lineman altogether. I think that's going to help the Chiefs' offensive line issue significantly. And lastly, for the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm going to have them take linebacker Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. Very similar player to Jalen Walker, like I was mentioning earlier. Like I've said before on this channel, he's not going to be quite as effective in the pass rush as Jalen Walker, but he's going to make up for it in being better in pass coverage. And really, they're both really good at stopping the run, so he's going to be a good run stopper too. And I think that's really good coverage in case Zach Bond leaves in free agency. And even if he doesn't, even if he resigns, phenomenal linebacking core right here if you add him in, And even like, because he can rush the passer too, it really gives you some coverage in case Josh Sweat leaves, Like, I know you're not going to be, like, primarily using Campbell on the edge. He's going to be more of an off-ball linebacker, but he's going to be able to rush the passer, and, it'll be able to help the pass rush a little bit if Sweat leaves. So, really, regardless of what happens, he can help that defense, which is already elite, I think it's a valuable pick. So, that's all I have for you guys in today's mock draft. Again, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Recently hit 1,600 subscribers, so if you could help me reach 1,700 next, that'd be awesome. But I'll see you next time. Later.